Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, a big focus on Real Madrid because it's a difficult moment for Real Madrid. They face the possibility of having 0 titles this season again, and so what's going to happen next? Answer so many situations on the market, and not only, let's jump into it together. Here we go guys, for this special episode on Real Madrid. Many things to mention, many things to clarify, many situations to clarify, and obviously for Real Madrid it's a big moment. It's going to be a big summer because last summer they decided to go all in for Xabi Alonso and with Xabi Alonso, but it didn't work. Then Arbeloa, but Real Madrid this season are facing the risk of having 0 titles again. A really complicated situation in La Liga, out of Champions League, out of Copa del Rey, no Supercopa, and so obviously a really tough season for Real Madrid with a serious risk of 0 titles. But what's the status of the situation around Real Madrid as of today? Let me start clarifying something on the manager situation. Álvaro Arbeloa. Internally at Real Madrid, people have really appreciated his attitude, first of all. Second, really important, how he trusted young players, something really appreciated in Real Madrid, how he was trusting young players from Castilla, and that's a factor because Real Madrid want to go in that direction. And then also the game against Bayern was really appreciated. Man City first and then Bayern. Real Madrid were competing also last night, despite what happened with the red card for Camavinga. What happened during the game was appreciated, the attitude by people at Real Madrid, but obviously in terms of titles, in terms of results, 0. And so that's the point. Real Madrid will assess the position of Álvaro Arbeloa internally. It's a possibility to see him leaving the club from now to the end of the season, while Real Madrid have still not communicated anything to Arbeloa or anything official. Answering some of your questions on managers. Many rumors today on Zinedine Zidane. What I can tell you is that Zinedine Zidane has a verbal agreement to be the new French national team head coach after the World Cup. That remains the case. A fantastic relationship with Florentino Perez, but it's a verbal agreement with France. Then guys, it's a verbal agreement, it's not signed, so never say never in football. But I keep telling you, since November, agreement France Zidane for the job. Many questions on Didier Deschamps, but as I told you, at the moment, I'm not aware of concrete contacts between Deschamps and Real Madrid. Real Madrid are still having internal conversations on managers, and one of the names who is always mentioned internally is Jurgen Klopp, but at the moment, again, on the Jurgen Klopp situation, he has, for sure, some big fans into the Real Madrid board, really appreciating him, but for Real Madrid, it has to start by Jurgen Klopp. If Klopp really wants to return to the daily job of manager or not, Real Madrid need to understand this before saying, okay, we want to go for Jurgen Klopp. So at the moment, it's a situation that still can't be considered advanced or concrete. Then guys, don't forget that Real Madrid want to bring back Toni Kroos to the club. Not as a manager, obviously, not as a player, he retired, but as part of the management structure. So that remains an idea they want to follow at Real Madrid because they really like Toni Kroos, and the possibility to bring him back is something that Real Madrid are for sure considering. Then some of you today asking me guys also about Jose Mourinho. Is there a chance to see Mourinho returning to Real Madrid? Guys, obviously, the bond between Mourinho and Real Madrid remains. I can tell you that Mourinho would like one day to have the possibility to be back to Real Madrid, would be something he would be open to. But at the moment, that's it. Telling you that Real Madrid are negotiating with Mourinho, are working on the comeback of Mourinho would be something not true today. So still early. We have to understand what Real Madrid decide to do on the manager. It's still an internal part of the conversation, and then we will understand more. In terms of some player situations, guys, just to clarify something, I will tell you more also tomorrow on the situation of some of the players who could leave Real Madrid, because there are some players who could leave Real Madrid. But some situations to clarify on who is under contract and it's expiring, and also on the situation of some of the stars at Real Madrid. Many questions on Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I can tell you guys that Real Madrid believed this was a season where he had to adapt. New football, new life, new city, new league. But Real Madrid are happy with the attitude of Trent. So it was not an easy start of the season, but then he's been improving. So Trent will 100% stay this summer. He's not going to be on the market, even if there were rumors about Saudi, forget about that, or return to Premier League, forget about that. Trent is staying at Real Madrid. Vinicius Jr., Real Madrid maintain their intention to continue with Vinicius Jr. The new contract proposal remains available on the table. Now the negotiations will continue between Vini and Real Madrid, but it's the president, Florentino Perez, who really wants Vinicius to stay, to continue, to sign a new contract. So the intention of Real Madrid remains to continue with Vinicius Jr. And also with Trent, answering some of your questions on that. Then on two players who are out of contract at Real Madrid. What's going to happen with them? What's going to happen with these situations? Tony Rudiger, guys, from what I understand, it's still a 50-50 situation. Nothing has been agreed yet between Rudiger and Real Madrid over a new contract. Real Madrid would be open on keeping Antonio Rudiger for a short-term contract, but they still have to understand the conditions of this contract. So at the moment, we cannot guarantee that Rudiger will renew with Real Madrid. There will be conversations, yes, but it's not something decided. For Dani Carvajal, at the moment, is quiet. This could be important to understand the manager for the Dani Carvajal situation. Because with Arbeloa, the situation was not easy. Carvajal was almost never playing, is almost never playing. In case there is another manager, the situation could be different, and we have to understand, also in terms of leadership. There is some people internally at Real Madrid, some really important people at the club, believing that, for example, and I say that in reference to Carvajal's situation, losing Luka Modric last summer on a free transfer, he's doing very well in Italy at Milan. You can say, okay, Italian football is different, but it's still Luka Modric. Luka Modric last season at Real Madrid was still performing very well. Someone believed that also in terms of leadership, apart from the technical discussion, in terms of leadership, losing Modric was a big problem this season for Real Madrid. A really big problem, probably a mistake to lose Luka Modric on a free. Now, imagine losing also another leader like Dani Carvajal, well, that could be a point. So, depending on the manager, the Dani Carvajal situation will be assessed. He already received some calls from Qatar in the last 6 months, so he has some possibilities, but at the moment will depend, again, on what Real Madrid decide to do with Dani Carvajal. And then, obviously, there is also someone leaving. I can tell you tomorrow, guys, on players under contract, so we will talk more about them. But in terms of players who are out of contract, again, we said about Rudiger 50-50, we said about Carvajal depending on the manager, David Alaba will leave Real Madrid 100% at the end of the season. David Alaba is leaving. It's over. In terms of injuries, he's been unlucky. But David Alaba is attracting interest from several clubs. He always had the Saudi clubs interested. Also, more European clubs are considering a move for David Alaba to give him the opportunity to play maybe one more season in Europe and then consider his future. So Alaba has several possibilities, but among these possibilities, there will be no new contract at Real Madrid. This is not happening because David Alaba is leaving the club. And so, guys, let me hear your thoughts on all these stories on Real Madrid, on managers from Klopp to Deschamps, Zidane, Mourinho, so several situations to understand. Then Tony Rudiger, Dani Carvajal, David Alaba, your opinion. And then Trent, Vinicius Jr., what do you feel about these players? Well, it's a complicated situation in Real Madrid. So your opinion, guys. Here in comments, like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.